Don't remove that. Oh, maybe we put that back on, make it smaller. Let's see. Oh, make it even smaller. Nope. There we go. We stick it over here. Oh, jump the gun there a little bit. All right, here we go. All right, let's get ready to music. Wow, I want to thank everybody for joining us here. I think now we can set that up like that. Every day we live and we learn, we live, and all the rest of that stuff. It's always an exciting day. If you don't know what you do, if you don't know, I mean, there's a message of the day. If you don't know what you're doing and are comfortable in that world of I don't know what I'm doing, then you know what, you're good. Yes, certainly good to go because everything's a learning experience, and it's interesting, right? Somebody put a post up before. It's like, oh, if money was no object, what university would you go to? What college would you go to? And somebody said, well, you can go to any college. Well, not necessarily. I mean, money does factor into it. Granted, if you're the brilliant one, maybe you can go to any college, any place. I was going to put in there the School of Hard Knocks. Yeah, maybe it's the School of Disappointment, the School of Failure. Again, that's a toughie. Don't want to really say failure here because you know what happens when you say failure? Someone smacks you in the back of the head. Don't use the word failure. Use the word learning experience. Less than desired outcome. That's my favorite one. Because where do we learn? Where do we learn? We learn by doing. We learn by growing. We learn by making some mistakes every once in a while. And we learn from those mistakes. So maybe the School of Hard Knocks is it. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Today was one of those days. I got to tell you, it's like so many things kind of came together today. It was just absolutely outrageous. That's why I left the tomato talk up there. Opportunities are all around us. What do we need to do? We need to be ready for them. Okay, that's that training. That's the understanding of where we want to go. It's also having that confidence. That's the be ready. That encompasses so much. The be ready. Be ready. Be ready for those things. Be ready for your opportunities. Be ready for your, dare I say, mistakes. Get ready. Get ready. And what's the other side? And being aware of them. Slow down, smell the roses, that kind of thing. Or maybe it's stop and smell the roses. I think it's actually stop and smell the roses. Well, today I was someplace that, well, there was no roses. Actually, there was a lot of weeds. There was a lot of busted up buildings and stuff like that. I'll put that photo up over here. Oh, there's the frog too. I was at a Superfund site. Yeah, because look, if you're gonna go out and if you're gonna go out someplace, what better place to go than a Superfund site? Superfund site, not a Superfund site. Mike, I know you're thinking, wow, that's cool, man. Brian went to a Superfund site. No, fund is a D. Is a D on the end of that thing. Superfund. It was Lawrence Aviation. Lawrence Aviation is in Port Jefferson. You may not know about it. If you live in the area, you know about it. If you're a bicycle rider, perhaps you know about it too, because it is along the Setauket Greenway, Setauket Port Jefferson Greenway Trail, which I think they renamed that too. They threw in Stephen Engelbright's name in that one too. Mr. Engelbright has been such a massive part of that thing for a lot of years. The Superfund does come with issues, and Superfund also comes with issues too. Sometimes day after, like, oh my God, what did I do? But the Greenway Trail, let's talk about that. Got the shirt on. Let's talk about that Greenway Trail. Where is it? What is it? And all the rest of that kind of stuff. Okay, the Greenway Trail. The Greenway Trail starts. Well, let's start on my side of it, the Setauket side of it. And it goes out to Port Jefferson. It's a 3-mile trail. I think it might be a little bit over, but it's a 3-mile trail. It's paved. It's windy. It's really cool. The elevation changes also. Hey, as Long Island goes, the elevation changes. So if you folks that live out in the Midwest or upstate New York or anywhere, we got elevation change. Might be 50 feet, but it's a change. It's something. It's a hill. Got a bump, as that goes. But anyhow, so it goes from Setauket to Port Jefferson. It is a windy trail. It's paved. It's 8 foot wide, 10 foot wide, whatever it was supposed to be. The rest of that stuff, it does cross the road in a couple of different spots. kicking around that one. And there's lights that come on for the traffic. This way they know that somebody is about to cross. The lights blink over there, so they are supposed to stop. Hopefully they do stop, and in my experience, they do stop, which is great. I mean, look, it's a local trail on local streets. These are our neighbors that we're talking about here. You got to be respectful. You got to be respectful any place. Atlanta, man, it's one of those rules down there. I was in a car one time, and the guy, I was not driving, somebody else was driving. All of a sudden, hitting the brakes. I was like, what happened? It's like somebody's going to cross the road. I'm looking around for cars. It was like somebody walking. It's like, man, okay. Well, this is Blinks. It was all good. So it's a paved trail, 3 miles. It is windy. You get a little bit of elevation change. You got a scenery change too. Scenery's it's great, really. So it goes through treed area, and there are homes on both sides of it. But during the summer, when all the leaves are going, you can't even see the homes. You don't know. You don't know. And then it comes up by a railroad track. It goes underneath the railroad track along the road. Got to be careful, but it goes along the road just maybe 50 feet, something like that. Then you back in another old. It's an old the vegetation there. It's all natural vegetation, which means nobody's really touched it, right? It was never turned into a farm or anything like that. It's old growth area, and it's nice to go through over there. That's like on the Old Hollow Road. That is my section of the trail that I take care of, and then it goes up and it goes across some more open fields, and it winds its way over to Port Jefferson, and it finishes up close to where the railroad station is, close to it, a little bit shy of it. And then if you want, you can continue on your way. Then the rails to trail picks up from there, and it goes all the way from Port Jeff out to Miller Place. Really great. So if you want to run a marathon, you actually start at one side, go out, come back. It's something like 26 miles. It's pretty darn close. It's really cool. But in the middle of this thing, there's that frog guy. In the middle of it is this place called Lawrence Aviation, and you're looking at one of the photos of that, and I got a few others that I took today. Lawrence Aviation, seriously speaking here, Lawrence Aviation is a Superfund site. It has been a Superfund site for decades. They built, well, there's aviation facilities, so the pollution in that area is bad. The buildings that are in that area are unbelievable. They're really in bad shape. I took some photos. This is one on the outside, but I took some other photos, which I might be able to get to while we're doing this thing, and I'll see if I can do that while we're chatting here. But I took some other photos of the buildings, and they are wild, really something else. So I mentioned to them because I had a chance to take the tour, which was like really, really nice, and it was they were like totally decrepit buildings. And let's see if we can get to one of them. Yeah, we'll do screen share. I think we could post these up over here. And they're like virtually on getting ready to fall down. Let's go back. Let's do here, settings, share screen. So today I got a chance to take a tour of that, which was really, really cool. And then the other side of it, there we go. Bam. Good. There we go. So we got a chance to take a tour of it, and I'm going to tell you why we took a tour of it. And that's the fun side of it. Really, really great. And then the implications of everything else about being ready for these opportunities is there. So this is what it looks like. That is, I guess that was a window or something like that. I don't know what was on the other side of it there, but that's what the whole thing kind of looks like. It's pictures like this. Beaten up. So it became a Superfund site. It has not been in operation since 2003. So talking just about 20 years or 20 years that it's been abandoned, flat out abandoned. And it's a big property, over 100 acres in there too. And so this is what's going on there. And I'll show you another photo too that we have. That's that one. That's some machinery that's on the inside, and obviously there's a few people with graffiti artists that have made their way in there. And this to give you some idea of the scale of size. There's a couple of legislatures that we're visiting here. The scale of sizes that goes. The building's blurry, they're clean, and I got another photo of that. Might be a little bit better. Another one too. They're just very big building, cavernous on the inside actually, and it is something else to see about that whole thing. I thought I had another photo of them someplace. Let's see if we can find that. But what they're going to do with it is actually incredible. And nah, that's the best picture I got of it. I thought I had another one. I will have to find that thing. We're going to take one more look. So they're going to take this. So it's along the Greenbelt Trail. Nope, not here. Okay. So anyhow, it's along the Greenbelt Trail, and you could view it from the trail itself. But let's remove that. Let's get back to here. There we go. So you can view it from there. So it's wild buildings. I was mentioned, and I'm not even kidding around. Really, it used to be like a photographer's dream to go in there. Either sunrise, sunset. Sunrise would make more sense, a little bit safer, and get some shadow photos that were there. I didn't have enough time to really mess around with the camera to take some other photos. I took some, not a whole lot, but fascinating, fascinating. So what's the story with this? Well, it looks like that there is now funding to take those buildings down, those structures that are there. And there was quite a few elected officials that had joined us today for the press announcement that the funding is there to take down these buildings and to actually repurpose that area, which is great. Not going to be busy. They're not going to put stuff in there that's going to make it busy. No shopping centers or anything like that. It's stuff that just makes sense. And it's very, very cool to see that happen. So who was in town to go and do this thing? Well, our town, everybody was there. There we go. There's some of the folks that were there. That would be Chuck Schumer was there with his puzzle piece, and the idea behind that this was the last piece of the puzzle in order for this to come to be. You are looking at on the pure left is Councilman John Kornreich. There we go. Supervisor Ed Romaine, Schumer. You got a few dignitaries behind him. I'm not too sure about. And the one that's just over his left shoulder, that's Steve Malone. And then to the left of or to the right of Steve Malone, as you're looking at the photo, is Steve Engelbright. And then to the right of that is a few other folks that are involved with the Greenway Trail that I had for years. Steve Engelbright was the one who got us funding for the Greenway Trail right in the beginning. Right in the beginning. I think it's like it is actually about 20 years ago. 20 years ago, got started on this thing. Whoa, unbelievable. And it seems like Schumer now has come through with additional funding, and the town of Brookhaven, that's Romaine, has come through with additional funding that we can now clean up those buildings. What's going to go in there? What's expected to go in there would be open space, a lot of open space. And I got the sheet of paper around for that one, but you're never going to be able to see, but that is what it is. There we go. So it's a lot of green space is going to be there. And then over here, this grayer area that's up there, what they're looking at is putting in a solar farm and things like that. So it's good. I think it works well with the neighborhood because neighbors are now going to have a solar installation there as opposed to these buildings. So that'll be good. That graffiti is done by somebody, so maybe it cleans up that little aspect of life just as well. No real traffic. You'll generate income, for the area. Revenue, tax revenue. So that's good. Where right now it's not, etc. Takes away that building that, well, eyesore, if you like the landscape. Takes away that photo. They're unbelievable to take photos of buildings for the photographer side of life. But there's always other things to go take pictures of. especially around this area. Very, very historic area. You get some old buildings, but that was really cool, you know. And to have all of those elected officials together all at the same time, that was really cool. So I do got a photo. I'm not going to be able to put it up over here. Took a selfie as that goes, and then I'm wearing the shirt. So we took a photo with all of the trail stewards and those folks that have been part of the Greenway Trail for all the years. I said it was probably 20 of us there or so to get in that photo. So that'll be popping up at one point in time just as well. And I think that will be on, I don't know if it's going to be on Ballone's website or Schumer's website, or whatever it is. But here's the other thing. Let's go back to our tomato intro. Now let's get rid of that. Here, opportunities are all around us. Yes, they are. And sometimes they come from fun things to do. This bike trail, walking trail, hiking trail, why did I get involved in that? Look, I live in a community. It was something good to do. My son was very, very young at the time. Knew he was going to get on a bicycle at some point. Nice, safe place to ride, right? Nice trailed area. That's good. I was doing a bit more running at the time than I do right now. Also, really nice thing to do. Go run on trails as opposed to running on the street. You don't have to worry about cars as much. You do have a few crossways there. And it was good. It's just good, right? Anytime you better your community, you're just adding value to that community. Sometimes you can't put a number on it. You can't quantify it. It's not like we're lowering taxes with it. Taxes aren't going to be lowered with that solar farm either. But it's not like we're lowering, lowering taxes and stuff like that. We aren't even really beautifying the neighborhood. Not really the neighborhood. But it was just making the community a little bit more interesting. Now have bike trails, besides the beaches and everything else that goes along with it. So it's cool. Definitely cool. Some did it. Put some time in it. Never imagined I'd be sitting here 20 years later, and still talking about that bike trail and what's evolving with it and the rest of it. And I really knew of the aviation site, but didn't think that we were going to be doing anything with it other than avoiding those buildings, which the trail does. But here we are. So when you get involved in something that's fun, you never know what it's going to lead to. Now, take a look at some of these other activities you've been involved with. This idea of that drag strip out east. Let's see. Steve Ballone came out there one day. Really enjoyed it. Got a chance to say thank you for coming out there. That was kind of cool. I went to a Democratic event, thanks to my wife, and spoke to the councilman, John Kornreich, about that, as well. He's like, oh, yeah, it sounded really exciting. I was a little surprised. So enthusiastic about it, to be perfectly honest. I was like, we're on that on the grass. Environmental impact is low or almost none, really, because it's all on concrete. I was like, yeah. And next thing you know, and man, he's all pumped up about that. Ran into him also at the Stony Brook Food Incubator. There's this Stony Brook. I remember, wanted to get to know what's going on at the Epcal Center, at the Epcal Park. There's a Stony Brook Food Incubator out there. Great group of people. Run into them at a few different things too, through the Suffolk County Alliance of Chambers event. Fascinating as to what they're doing. So let's see. Jonathan Kornreich is very involved with the Stony Brook College to the point where he was promoting an event and coordinated an event at the Stony Brook Food Incubator that happened to be in the town of Riverhead. And I had asked him, I was like, why'd you do that? Aren't there, territory lines in the sand? He goes, no. He said, it's good for business. It's good for the community. I want to see the community increase. I'm like, nice. There you go. Now that's a positive thing to say. So he was there. Let's not forget Kara Hahn. Kara Hahn, a Suffolk County legislator. You know where the last time I met Kara Hahn was actually cleaning up the trail. She'd show up cleaning up the trail. She lives in the area, so she's out there with that one too. So who are we missing here? Oh, let's see. Our Brookhaven supervisor, Ed Romaine, was there. So it was good to see him. That was a pleasant surprise, and he's partially putting some money into this thing, just as well. for the cleanup site and looking to revitalize downtown areas. And some of the other Suffolk County legislatures were there for different districts. So now we take into this account of, oh, wouldn't it be cool if there was a drag racing track out there? Steve Malone was there. Had a little conversation with him. He said, oh, and wouldn't that be good for the career side of things? If there was a track, that would be good. High school vocational programs, automotive, STEM, and few like items like that. Well, had that conversation going on with a few other people that were from not in the local area but down there. Told them this whole idea of trying to expand everything, and turns out it was the land use group that was at this thing just as well. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Chuck Schumer's got an interest in this too. But in essence, I think they all do. And in essence, I think everybody does. And this was the opportunity today to basically meet a lot of these people in a more relaxed environment. It was a small group as those things go. There was maybe 50 people there or something like that. So it wasn't crazy. It wasn't that rushed either. It wasn't just, hey, take a photo and go. There's speeches by many of the folks that were there. And then some time lingering around, and I got a chance to take a tour of the place also. That was just a small group of us. It wasn't everybody that did that. But this is what we really need to be prepared. Because today's opportunity, man, was just unbelievably unique. Unbelievably unique. And it was great to see everybody there. I don't know if this was a bipartisan event or not. Didn't even think about that. Who knows what it was? But I can tell you, it was a good event. It was good to see this site get cleaned up. It was good to see open space being preserved. All for that. It was good to see the right business come in this area. All for that. It was great to hear the interest. And much of them gave me their cards. It was great to hear the interest. Valid interest, valid, sincere interest by many of these officials, elected officials, in whatever capacity they were, interested not in drag racing per se, not so much as even in the auto industry per se, but in creating opportunities for our students, for our high school students, for our college students, creating opportunities here on Long Island, for the betterment of the businesses here on Long Island, and doing it in a manner that makes the most amount of sense for all parties. For all parties. Look, should we never develop again? No, that's crazy. Of course we should. Should we rip down every tree on Long Island? Not in my book. I don't think so. Should we put businesses in where businesses should be? Without a doubt. The access to this place is very, very limited. So it's not a good place for a shopping center or anything like that. That would have been a crazy idea. It is a very good place for a solar farm. It's off the beaten track. To look at solar panels, if you're riding a bicycle or walking down that trail, fine. And you want to know something? I don't even know exactly where it's going to be placed where you're going to see it, but there's a buffer. Of trees and a berm and stuff like that. So I don't even know if you'd be able to see it. And even if you did, so what? That's fine. That's alternative energy. That's a good thing. And I know there's a whole bunch of things that have to go along with it, but it's got to start. Things have got to start, with the alternative stuff, including those electric cars. And the percentage of people buying electric cars continues to increase dramatically. And from what I've been following in NASCAR, one of the teams using an electric vehicle to practice their pit stops. The electric cars in some of the other places, from what we've seen over at the drag strip, they're fast. Electric car racing, is it going to be replace those combustion cars in the Daytona 500? I don't know. Maybe someday it will. I'm sure someday it will. But I don't know about that. But is electric vehicle racing road racing, which is taking place at the Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. They are racing electric cars, and these will look like Formula One type cars. They're racing those electric cars in the Brooklyn Navy Yard with the backdrop of Manhattan. It's unbelievable. It's gorgeous. And these cars, these folks driving these cars, man, they're driving these cars. It's a regular full blown road course. The thing is that you don't have the noise consideration where it's closer to residential areas. Fascinating, isn't it? I wonder what kind of alternatives that would bring up, or what kind of opening and possibilities that would bring up. Fascinating. Fascinating. See, the thing is, and it always is, there are opportunities all around us. And if we can have a fun time finding those opportunities, hey, all the better. If you can naturally do what you're doing, and this is really the message going out to these students, but if you could naturally pursue a career, naturally pursue a hobby that all of a sudden leads yourself or lends itself into more of a career, if you could figure that out, then I think there's massive opportunities all around us. And look, there's a huge difference to do it when you're 15 years old and you're just doing something for a hobby, and all of a sudden you find out, hey, you know what, I'm really good at this. This is actually a young lady I spoke to that's, she's learning welding at a very young age. She continues on with that whole thing, and it just works, and she enjoys it. And if she finds out she's really good at it, massive career. The same thing with so many different things. So when you're really young and you're pursuing something, it's a hobby, it's great. You're going to find out what you're just naturally good at doing, and then figure out the career from there. If you're in your 30s and 40s and you're building a family and you got a family, you got everything else that's going on, it certainly is tougher to make a transition like that. Hey, a lot of folks I know got these side gigs. Maybe that's it. Still, it's a challenge. You got a house full of people, your kids, you got the dog, you got everything going on. It's like you're pulled in 15 directions. It's tough to concentrate on too many things. But then you get that other age group, dare I say, the 50 and over, the 60 and over, maybe even older, 70 and over, and thinking, I now don't need that much money, or I don't need money. I know what I'm good at doing for all of those years, and it's like, now's the time. Now may be the time for you. If you've got the time, energy, effort, maybe working from home, you freed up a lot of time to really think about what it is that you're naturally good at doing, and do it. And really do it. And then find that you wind up in situations like that for a bicycle trail. And then all of a sudden you're meeting everybody to bring it all, to make it happen. And then all those other little experiences in life that you've had, then all of a sudden you've got at least a base level of knowledge on this stuff. Maybe it's time to go back to school. Who knows? I may go from finding that automotive program at Suffolk Community College very interesting to actually taking a class in something along the lines of that. Who knows? Automotive? Microphone, automotive. Oh, only time will tell. And maybe camera. I could take better photos, as well on that one. So there is a lot to be said there, my friends. Opportunities are all around us. The challenge is being ready, and that's the challenge I put to you today. And keeping your eyes open, because you need to see those opportunities, and then you need to act on them. Have the confidence to act on them. And when you do, you will speak well. You will speak often, and you will absolutely live inspired and have great days that just keep you moving along. And that is a beautiful thing to see happen. All right, look, have a great day. All right, here we go.